Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Voices for Change 2.0, the mental health podcast that's changing the discussion one voice at a time, featuring guests that will help end the stigma and keep talking mental health. And now, here are your hosts, Rebecca and Joe Lombardo.
Hey, good morning, and welcome to Voices for Change 2.0.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. We are so happy that you decided to spend an hour on your Saturday listening to us on our humble little show.
Or whenever it is that you decide to listen to it.
That then too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're glad you join us no matter what time of day or night.
Yeah, exactly. So thanks for being with us. Welcome.
We are very excited today.
Yes.
It is our 100th episode.
Woo-hoo!
It's a good day. It's a good day for us.
Yeah. It's there's a feeling of satisfaction in that.
Yeah.
You know, it's a landmark.
Mm-hmm.
As I yawn, it's a landmark. It really is. You know, you think about it. You look at some of the popular TV shows over the last, history of television,
mm-hmm.
and they always make a big deal about it being the 100th episode or the 200th episode or the what have you. And
well, you have a right to if you've been on, trying week after week after week to get listeners or
mm-hmm.
viewers, and putting out the best stuff that you can possibly put out, and you have a right to celebrate it, in my opinion.
Yep, and we couldn't have done it without you guys. So
that's for sure.
Thank you so much for listening to us, for tolerating my terrible jokes. And that goes doubly for my wife, who has had to tolerate my terrible jokes for almost 19 years.
Yep.
And still continues to love me. So, hey, how about that, guys?
It is possible. You can find love no matter how terrible your jokes are.
That's right. So there's hope yet for people. Anyway, we also couldn't have done it without our awesome and faithful and beautiful producer, Scott.
Yep.
We love you more than words can say, and we're so happy to have you in our lives, show or no show. You're an awesome friend, and we love you.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
and after the experiences that we encountered when we put out the first version of our show,
mm-hmm.
Having someone like Scott, available to us and working with us, and putting confidence back from me. I know when everything kind of fell apart the first time around, I lost a lot of confidence, and I had trouble with trust issues and things like that. And he made it so easy, and still makes it very easy for us. And, we really appreciate it. And thank you to all of our guests. We've had so many guests that have come on for multiple times, like our guest today.
Mm-hmm.
This will be her third run on our show, which we're excited about because we always have a great conversation with her.
And she
is so stinking cute.
She's awesome.
We love her to death.
We do, and we can't wait to talk to her and see how life is going for her. And so we're going to get to that in a minute. But just so the big thing is that we're grateful. We're grateful to you, our listeners. We're grateful to Scott. We're grateful to all the guests that we've had over the years. And let's keep this going as long as we can. I said as she took a drink of her water.
As I took a drink of water and I can't respond.
Sorry, honey. So, that said, would you like to introduce our guest, babe?
Sure, I would love to introduce our guest.
Okay.
She's a great friend to start off with. Just an amazing, amazing friend.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, really supportive of us and our show and everything that we do in the mental health community, especially on Twitter. And like I said before, we've had her on a couple of times, and I couldn't think of anybody better to have for our 100th episode. And she is a author,
Mm-hmm.
a blogger,
Mm-hmm.
and an outstanding mental health advocate.
And a podcaster.
Oh, yes, and she does have a podcast now. I almost forgot about that. I'm sorry.
Yep.
And so we're super excited to see what's going on with her today. So please welcome to the show, Anneli Roberts.
Oh my God! Hi.
Hi. How are you?
That's the nicest introduction ever.
Well, it's true. You know,
It's all true.
With every word of it. And, you know, we love you, and we're happy that you're with us, especially on our 100th episode. So there.
So exciting.
Yeah.
It's such a huge milestone. Well done.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Well done, us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe that. That's 100 conversations about mental health that have been broadcast, right? So you must have affected so much change.
I hope so.
No,
yeah, I hope
too.
it's been positive. That's certainly our goal, is trying to expand the conversation and shed light on all the different things that people experience on this journey called mental health. And yeah, and you've been part of it absolutely the whole time, and you know, we're pretty keen on that. Yeah. Yeah, we are.
Very grateful.
So.
Well,
do you have any questions for? Oh, thank you.
Thank you, dear.
You have any questions for us before we get to grilling?
I'd just like to. How does it feel to get to 100 episodes? It must feel pretty exciting.
There's two parts to it for me. I'll be, I'm completely honest. There is the exciting part where I'm just like, wow, I can't even believe that we've gotten this far. This is amazing. Look at how far we've come.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the other part of me that's thinking we could be at a lot more than 100 episodes if, you know, life didn't get in the way so damn much.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. You know, there's that.
You know,
100 is amazing.
You know,
yeah.
You get family stuff and headache stuff and
family headache stuff.
Yeah, and illnesses and everything that have prevented us from doing the show on certain days. And
yeah, so you know, but even considering all that, you know, again, we're grateful that we've gotten to this point. You know,
it took a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's I don't know, it feels good.
Yeah.
It's really all I can say. It feels good that everything is paid off.
Yeah, it's like we've, you know, developed our voice and found it, and we have it, and we get to share it with everybody, and yeah, it's I feel warm and fuzzy right now.
Yeah, me too.
Are you?
I think it's amazing.
Do you feel warm and fuzzy?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, good. Okay, so that said, we're going to jump into our questions.
Yeah, let's go ahead and jump on in.
Yeah. So, our first question is not our normal first question because
we've asked you that before.
A couple times already. Yeah. So instead, we're going to ask, how have you been lately? How are you faring during this COVID-19 business?
It's been very up and down, I would say, like a roller coaster. Mm-hmm. Some things haven't really changed for me. I live with post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD. So the leaving the house to go to social occasions and things was never really something I was doing very easily anyway, so I haven't seen a big difference there. And I work from home, so again, not really a big difference there. But I think for me, it's been we're under a lockdown here in the UK, so for me, the stress has come from a combination of not being able to walk the dogs as much as I would like and get into open spaces as much as I would like to, but also the fear, the kind of health anxiety of what if I get it, what if someone I love gets it, and feeling kind of just generally grieving for the people in the world who are losing their loved ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I definitely get that. Yeah, it's hard. It's devastating. I watched a thing this morning as I ate my cereal, and it said that the U.S. is up to 76,000 deaths. So I really wish more people would take it seriously, because I don't know if you've seen, if they featured it on the BBC with you guys or not, but over here we've had people protesting and wanting everything to get opened back up, and it's not safe.
No,
and
I still think we're doing it all too soon.
Yeah.
We have a stay-at-home order, and that's in effect until the end of the month. But people are still going back to work, and places are opening again. And while I completely 100% understand that they need the money, and the businesses are in trouble because they haven't been able to be open and things like that, I still think that it's just too early to be opening anything. And maybe I can say that because you've been working the whole time and still getting a paycheck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but it's still been just tense. I'm freaked out every day about bringing this home and being a carrier, and even if it doesn't affect me, maybe it hits Beck, or maybe it hits our niece or her baby, and I would be devastated if I got any of them sick, and so I'm hyper vigilant about that. I'm constantly using hand sanitizer, and every business I go into, I'm wearing a mask, and everywhere I go, I'm wearing a mask before I go into the place, regardless of what it is.
People are pretty much wearing masks for everything.
Yeah.
Right now, just to go into stores, which is great. I think that's definitely a step in the right direction.
Yeah, for sure. But it's still, it's still nerve-wracking, and I don't know. I if I give it too much thought, I get angry over the stupidity that we are seeing out there,
Yeah.
So, but it's, it's nice that for you, there are some things that haven't been affected too much, like work from home, which that's cool. That's good. You're not having to interact face to face with all these people. Because I tell you what, yesterday was way too people-y for me, and I couldn't wait to get home.
Yeah.
It was just, you just reached a point. I reached a point anyway. So, it's good that you're holding up for the most part.
I'm with you though. I'm not normally a person that goes out, a lot.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna go to an appointment, Joe's usually with me.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been in the house this entire time, and it hasn't seemed that different from regular life. Except that on really nice days when it would be really great to be able to go and maybe go to a park and get my camera out and take some pictures and whatnot. Can't do any of that.
Yeah.
But that's, that's not the end of the world for me. It's just, I don't know.
It's funny
so much.
Beck mentioned to me the other day, she's like, it's funny when you can leave the house and you just don't want to, it's one thing, but when you're told you can't leave the house, all of a sudden you want to leave the house.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It is. I've been kind of torn though, because I've also found the pressure to not go to social occasions, that being lifted has definitely helped me in a way, and not that there's, I don't really think there's a good side to this. This is all awful, but that pressure has been one less pressure on me just with my recovery in general. And also I'm still waiting to hear if my abuser will be prosecuted, and obviously that's a horrible thing to have to wait and find out about while they investigate and things, but I know that it's unlikely to move forward while we're in a lockdown, and that most historical cases are kind of on a back burner, and they're just dealing with what comes up as and when here, which means that I can kind of, park that. I don't need to worry I'm going to get a call or, anything like that. So there has been some temporary relief for other problems for me, but I would swap back to before this in a heartbeat,
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's you get those uncomfortable situations, and we've got an uncomfortable situation in our background too that we're sooner or later going to have to deal with. I don't want to really get into too much of it here.
It's a legal issue. Neither of us is in trouble.
Yeah, it's nothing like that.
There's a lawsuit situation that is kind of beating down on us. Yeah,
so the fact that this has all been going on kind of put that whole situation on hold too.
Which is actually a huge relief for me.
Yeah, because it's a long story. We'll explain it off the air. Sorry, listeners, you don't get to know. But it's when you've got stuff like that pending and it's down the road, it can be definitely a extra added point of stress, and knowing that right now nothing can be done about it because the courts are on hold and everything else is on hold. That does give you a little bit of a respite, and that's good.
Absolutely.
So, you have a new book coming out, and we love the title. Would you please tell us what it's called and talk about it?
Sure. So my book is called "Don't Be a Dick."
I love that.
A very snappy title that my grandparents weren't most thrilled with. My first book, and they were like, "You had to swear, didn't you?" But it's a collection of personal essays. I like to call them philosophical essays, but I'm not sure I'm really qualified to say that. But they're basically about tolerance and kindness and acceptance and self-care, and just how to go about your life without harming other people as much as you can possibly avoid it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good read.
Where are you at in the production stages? I know that you were taking pre-orders for it. Where are you at with it release?
I'm having it published by a UK-based publisher called Unbound, and they work as a crowdfunding platform only. So they're a bit different to traditional publishers in that you pitch them an idea and they read your manuscript or whatever stage you've got it at, and then they put it to your audience, or you put it to your audience via their platform, and people then pre-order it, and the pre-order funds the first print run, if that makes sense. So, and their marketing and all the work they'll put into it. They produce the book, and they get it into places like Amazon and Waterstones and the big bookstores are here in the UK, and I think in America some as well. But they do all of that for you, but not until you've had it funded. So I'm at kind of 44 or 45% funding at the minute, which I'm quite proud of, considering I've had such a tough time since I started the crowdfunder. And I must say that for somebody with anxiety, crowdfunding is really, really tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
can imagine. Yeah. But that's good. And, hopefully our listeners can get behind you too and get some pre-orders going and get you, farther along than 45%.
Yeah, we'll put out your social media links at the end of the show so that people can find you and hopefully back you.
That would be amazing. Thank you.
So,
what made you decide to write a book?
Yeah.
I've always expressed myself through writing, one of my main forms of self-expression, and I have started writing so many fictional books and things throughout my life. Started writing something and then got distracted halfway through by a better idea, etc. And I think since I started my blog, I found it a lot easier to write persuasive essays and things because I can deal with the topic, really get into it, but then move on from it, if that makes sense, rather than having to write a whole book on one thing. I really enjoyed this kind of this style of writing. It's almost like lots of blog posts in one book, but I also have found myself, reading more nonfiction. Since I've suffered with my mental health, I have read many more autobiographies and self-help books and comedy books, all written from the perspective of the author, but not intended as fiction. Just general meanderings of the soul and things. And I find it much easier to connect with real people now than fictional characters. Like when I was younger, it was the complete opposite, and I wanted to, I guess, put something back into the world that maybe was my take on a lot of things. It covers some pretty heavy topics and some very light-hearted ones. So there's chapters on things like consent and racism and tolerance, but there's also chapters on things like not mocking people's taste in music and not sending dick pics and things. There's a broad spectrum of different things, and they're all kind of framed in quite a nice, funny, light-hearted way that I think gives the reader. What I've tried to do is give the reader a standpoint to argue against those really annoying relatives from, providing them answers before the questions have even been asked, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely, yeah. And really, really quick, I got to say to all of our male listeners, if you are talking with somebody and you think it's ever a good idea to send a dick pic, it's not. Just don't. Mm-hmm. If you think, she'd really like to get this. No, she really wouldn't. Don't.
Most women don't even want one when they've been in a relationship with you.
Yes, exactly.
No.
It's all right. I'll pass.
Yeah.
That's just on a side note. That was my only association to Snapchat. I was literally on, and Joe was sitting next to me. I signed up for it, and within 2 minutes received an unsolicited dick pic. Got myself
awful.
off there and have never gotten back on again.
Yeah.
And somebody told me something about I hadn't made my profile private or something like that, and I was only on there for 2 minutes. I didn't know.
You didn't have time to put it private. Yeah.
Horrendous.
Oh, yeah, it's terrible. So,
gosh, what are they playing at? I'm assuming they think that you're a doctor or something.
Really. Yeah, it's like, no, it is there. I haven't met a woman yet that's like, yes, please send me one. So, just a little PSA out there for all the guys. Don't do it. Don't do that. Please don't.
It would be amazing to respond to all of the dick pics that you ever get. If you ever get sent a dick pic, just respond with a diagnosis. That's a great idea.
That's great. Or why is it so small? That's always that'll shut a guy down real quick too.
Yeah, that can turn on you.
Oh, cute.
Yeah.
Oh, look at it.
No. Why is it that? What?
Okay, now you're going too far.
Yeah. Sorry about that one. Sorry if you threw up in your mouth a little bit. That might be a good spot to reset.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so we're going to take a break. You guys listen to Soldier and by Billy Gilman, his song Soldier, and maybe go brush your teeth too. And we'll see you on the other side of this. Thanks.
Lovers in battle. We built this tower of Babel. The sabers may rattle, but I'm only fighting for you. You're my obsession, my lover, my rival. This song is a lesson, these words are survival, and I'm never letting you go. I'ma keep fighting. I'ma keep fighting. 'Cause baby I'm a soldier, gonna stand my ground. I'ma keep fighting. I'ma keep fighting. 'Cause baby I'm a soldier. Baby I'm a soldier. Some words aren't for saying. A heart that you love ain't a heart worth betraying. So baby stop playing, 'cause I won't be waving the white. If you're not gonna walk it, then baby don't talk it. Your words are like bullets, but I'm wearing armor, and I'm never letting you go. I'ma keep fighting. I'ma keep fighting. 'Cause baby I'm a soldier, gonna stand my ground. I'ma keep fighting. I'ma keep fighting. 'Cause baby I'm a soldier. Baby I'm a soldier. When it all peels away and there's nothing to say, I'll be standing right here in the mess that we made. 'Cause I'm never gonna let you go. Some battles are won and some battles are lost, but you live with the pain 'cause there's always a cost. But I'm never gonna let you go. 'Cause baby I'm a soldier. Baby I'm a soldier. Baby I'm a soldier. Baby I'm a soldier. I'ma keep fighting. I'ma keep fighting. 'Cause baby I'm a soldier, gonna stand my ground. I'ma keep fighting. I'ma keep fighting. 'Cause baby I'm a soldier. Baby I'm a soldier. I'ma keep fighting. I'ma keep fighting. 'Cause baby I'm a soldier, gonna stand my ground. I'ma keep fighting. I'ma keep fighting. 'Cause baby I'm a soldier. Baby I'm a soldier.
Hey, welcome back to Voices for Change 2.0. I'm Joe. The beautiful, wonderful, lovely woman next to me is my domestic life partner, Rebecca.
Okay.
And on the line, joining us for our 100th, that's right, our 100th episode, is the beautiful, lovely, and talented Miss Anneli Roberts, all the way from the UK. Hi, lady.
Thank you. Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Good.
So, like we said before the break, we're going to reset a little bit here. And you also have a podcast called How Are You Really? How did you come by that name? And what do you feature on your show? And how did you come up with the name?
Well, the name came pretty organically to me because I want to. I've had various podcasts about mental health, and this is actually a rebrand of my mental health podcast. But mostly, I wanted to kind of normalize the way we ask people how are you, where we actually ask them and want a sincere answer. Take the time to listen to the answer rather than just ask as a kind of token polite question, and discourage really people from going to that kind of default, oh, I'm fine answer, because one, I don't think people really use the word fine to mean fine, and two, I think that, I don't think it's very conducive to us opening up about our mental health, which is what I'm trying to encourage, and I know you are as well. So how are you really is called that because, the idea being that if you ask how are you and you get a very kind of stock answer to ask, oh, how are you really? Are you really doing okay? Is that real? So try and push for deeper conversations about how we're coping and how we're doing, and that's what I try to do on the podcast. So, and I had Rebecca on, and she was great.
Oh, thank you so much. I always get so nervous about I don't know why I do this show, virtually every weekend, but when I'm going to go on to somebody else's show, I get very, very nervous and worried about stumbling over my words. And
it's a control issue.
Yeah. You think so?
I actually do, yeah, because, this is our show, so we're the ones asking the questions and doing the research and all that. And, when you're on another person's show, you don't know what they're going to ask. And, unless they've given you the questions ahead of time. And, so then, in your own setting, you can kind of govern what you say, but someone catches you from left field with a question, you're like, So that's my 2-cent opinion on it.
Okay.
That makes a lot of sense.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, but that's cool. Do you have guests on the show besides my lovely wife? Who do you usually talk to? Is it other?
I have a guest every time I do an episode, which in theory is every week, but I'm yet to release 2 consecutive ones on the same day of following weeks. But, I completely empathize with you when you were talking about family and illness and headaches and things getting in the way. But I think, it's important for us to put our own health first, and that's as much of an example of a good mental health advocate as anything else, really, isn't it? Because the whole point is that you're just as sick when you're, mentally ill as when you're physically ill, and you need to take care of your health just as, urgently, I think. So
exactly.
I'm just, as now, just casually putting out episodes when I feel up to it, and I don't get paid for my podcast, so I'm, I prioritize the things that will bring me an income first, because it's not easy as a freelancer, especially right now. And then after I've kind of made my bills and I'm feeling I've got enough self-care and enough energy, then I might put out an episode. So it's very hit and miss at the minute, but I'm enjoying it, and so are the listeners that I have. So that's what matters, really, I guess.
Yeah, it's good that you're actually taking the time and prioritizing, because, there's a lot of people that don't. I see it every day, and it's hard, certainly in my job. I've had days where I could really use a mental health day. You're not feeling it. You're not in the right frame of mind. And I know for me with my work, there's no way. Whether I'm having a good day or a bad day, I have to suck it up and go into work and put a fake smile on my face and do the best I can to get through. And it's funny because with things being the way they are right now, and some of the changes that have been made, especially to my job in particular, with respects to dealing with the public. The whole mandate from our corporate was to get us in and out of customers as fast as possible. And, to that end, my days were usually 12, 13-hour days, and now I'm getting home after like 6-7 hours, and which is nice. It's in spite of the stress, it's helped me with my mental health, because now I know I'm not out there as much to have to worry about bringing it home, But yeah, it's a thing where I think it needs to be taken into account that, just like you might get a cold or get the flu or something, and you're feeling terrible and you're throwing up and you're whatever, that you have to stay home from work, being able to have a mental health sick day, I think is just as important.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's something that more employers should really start to look at and recognize.
Yeah, I would agree with you there, babe.
Yeah. So.
So we've got exciting news from you.
Mm-hmm.
You got engaged a little while ago.
Congratulations.
So, yes, congratulations from both of us.
Thank
so
you.
We are very, very happy for you.
Mm-hmm.
How is everything going with that? Are you making plans for the wedding, or are you having to put a lot of that on hold?
Well, we had already planned our wedding for New Year's Eve this year. We wanted to get married quite quickly. It's not super quick. It'll be about a year from when we got engaged. But we didn't want to be engaged for years and years. Just because, I guess, I don't know. Actually, I don't know what I'm even starting to explain. I don't know. It just felt right for us. Engage and then get married. So we booked everything for New Year's Eve, but then we've got this coronavirus kind of hanging over us, and luckily we were able to put down a very small deposit, so if we can't go ahead with it, we don't lose too much money. But it's still a concern as to whether we'll be able to celebrate. I think by then we will be able to get married, and we have said that we would still marry even if we did it privately and then celebrated maybe the year after. But it would be nice to celebrate with our family and friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good plan.
Yeah, and hopefully by that time things will have opened up and expanded enough that you'll be able to do that without a hitch. We'll be able to have social gatherings again.
Yeah, more than 5 people in a room.
Yeah, that would make for a really awkward reception for sure. So is this hampering
it's not
like
just about? Sorry, to interrupt you. I was just going to say, it's also that even when we're allowed to have social gatherings, my mother-in-law has cancer, so we don't want to start our married life by exposing vulnerable people. We have other vulnerable guests as well to COVID. So it's so difficult because I think the same as your government, our government has been pretty relaxed about it. So I can't. We can't necessarily trust that when they say, oh, it's okay to go ahead, that we can do that in good conscience, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. We're dealing with a lot of stupidity in this country. I'm not going to lie. But the one nice thing, and I don't know if you guys have a similar thing over there, but with us, with our states, we've got governors for each state, and they're the ones that have really kind of taken the lead in all this, and instituting stay-at-home orders and different things like that, trying to get PPE and ventilators and all that into the state. And our governors have really stepped up, and our governor in particular has been a huge thorn in the side of Trump, which is, I think, awesome. but that's just me personally.
That is good.
You know, yeah. So, is this getting in the way of you being able to handle some of the ancillary, I shouldn't say ancillary, but some of the stuff going along with the wedding, like going and getting your dress picked out and everything?
Yeah, dress is completely on hold. And yeah, it is affecting things. We're having quite a relaxed wedding in general.
Mm-hmm.
So I can imagine it's far worse for brides who have, like a big white dress planned and, the whole shebang. For me, we're having a small ceremony and then just a party with our family and friends, a New Year's Eve party. We figured it's one of those nights where people want something to do, but a lot of the time people go out and it can be a bit of a letdown or, an anticlimax. And we thought, surely it'll make for a good party to count down and then start our year together married and things like that. It's made honeymoon very complex concept for us. With, I'm getting advice from so many different people on whether or not we should even go on honeymoon and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And we haven't actually ever been on a holiday together. Everything's been kind of quite difficult for me, emotionally, and quite difficult for both of us financially since we got together. So we've been kind of putting all our eggs into our honeymoon kind of basket. And the place we want to go is Orlando, Florida, which is one of my favorite places in the world. I've got wonderful memories there from my whole life, and so has he separately. We've not been together. And so that's where we want to go. But, of course, America, you know what you're dealing with over there right now, and we just don't know if it's going to be safe. So it's really difficult. We finally made the decision to thank you. We finally made the decision to book, and so what we did is we booked with we ended up going with a company who allow for up until your wedding day for you to be able to change your honeymoon dates up until then because of the coronavirus at the minute. So we're just kind of I guess we're just going to see nearer the time whether we can go, and if not, we'll have to push it back.
Yeah. Well, that's smart, though. I mean, it's really hard trying to plan anything, especially now when we're all in the throes of this ridiculousness. But, you picked a good spot, Orlando. That's one thing Beck and I have yet to do is go down there, certainly together. And, now that they've got, anybody who knows me knows I'm a huge, huge Star Wars geek. And I'm chomping at the bit to go to that Galaxy's Edge thing they've got at Disney.
Yeah.
That was, I've had friends that have gone and I've seen their pictures and it just looks awesome. I just want to go on the Millennium Falcon. That's all. I don't ask for much, but it looks really cool. So, I'm hoping you guys will be able to get down there, and who knows, maybe your return flight to England has a layover in Detroit. Who knows?
That would be so much fun. Or maybe you could go to Galaxy Edge, get it done when we go.
I would love that, but it's going to take us winning a whole lot of money first. Yeah, the financial struggles that you mentioned, you're not alone.
No, not at all.
No. So, yeah, I don't know if we ever actually told you, but when we got married, it was a very small ceremony, and which is what we wanted, and not to mention what we could afford. But we didn't actually get to take our honeymoon, an actual official us going away somewhere for a week, until about 5 years after we got married.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we went to Vegas for that, which is
one of our favorite places.
Yeah. So that was pretty awesome. Yeah, we've actually talked about retiring there and stuff, but that remains to be seen. So I have a question for you.
Which is sort of the point of the whole show, you know.
Yeah. So you have a Patreon page.
I do.
I'm old. I'm old. Would you please explain to me what exactly a Patreon is and how you can benefit from it?
Sure. So Patreon is a platform where you can support all kinds of people, really. For me personally, it's my art, but you get YouTubers who have a Patreon, or podcasts quite often have a Patreon, and people who support you and want exclusive content that nobody else can get access to will choose to pledge anything from $1 upwards. You can set tiers, or you can let people decide. There's so many different options. I've got a few tiers that start at £1, which is just a little bit more than $1.
Mm-hmm.
And they get exclusive content from you every week or every month. And some people ship products. I ship some paintings out for certain tiers and things. And I guess why it's good for both sides is, for me personally, I've just launched my Patreon, and I think I've got 11 people pledged to it. I've got a little bit of income that's guaranteed every month, so I know, okay, this is they're going to pay this every month, so I know I've got this baseline of X amount that is going to go towards my bills, and then you can kind of budget a bit better as a kind of content creator or an artist or a writer, and they get to know that they're helping you continue to create as well, while also getting little gifts and things. So it's quite a nice way to connect deeper with your audience, or those of your audience who want to support you financially.
That's really cool. You know, that sounds kind of like the concept back in, I don't know if it's Renaissance days or what, but, you know, painters would have patrons and composers would have patrons, and these, you know, back in those days it would be, you know, really rich folk paying these different styles of artists to produce works and whatnot. And so it's kind of like a modern day version of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I imagine that's probably where it comes from.
Yeah, that's really cool. Well, thanks for explaining that, because, you know, I'm old. So
I knew it was a monthly gift thing, because I subscribed to one. I don't know if you're familiar with a thing called Riff Tracks, but they're
I am. Yeah.
Are you? Okay, yeah, they're a comedy show basically, and they did a Patreon thing, and you were able to donate $3 a month. So I said, well, what the heck, even if I don't follow up on all these things that they're offering, you know, $3 a month isn't going to kill me. You know, so I wanted to help them because they're so amazing. But can us in the United States, can we sign up for yours as well?
Yeah. It's completely international. It's just that you set the currency for the country that you live in. But yeah, it's all the same. I think it's actually an American company. So when I signed up, I had to, fill out all these, tax forms and stuff like that to say that I'm not paying tax in the U.S. So yeah, basically, I think anyone globally can.
Cool. Well, maybe we need to look into that for our show.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It would be a great idea for your show.
So we're winding down, but I got a question for you here. We love your artwork. Do you have any long-term goals for it, or is it a form of therapy for you, or both? And when I say long-term goals, I mean like putting out a book that features your artwork, something like that.
Well, it is definitely a form of therapy. I was quite interested in art as a child, but as an adult, I've only been doing it since I've had PTSD, as a way to get my emotions out and also a mindfulness technique, I guess, a way to really focus on something outside of how I'm feeling. So in that sense, I would say it's like a therapy for me, definitely. My goal is actually, I always associated myself with writing and words, and clearly I've got a book coming out and things, but I didn't really realize I would fall back into art and want to do it so much. And since doing it, I want to explore it more and more. And I think my goal with art would be, eventually I would really like to be a muralist. I don't know how you become qualified, but I basically would just love to go into people's homes and just paint on their walls as if they're a big canvas, things like nurseries and things. That would be my kind of dream. Yeah,
that'd
knowing
really
that
cool.
it would be, wouldn't it, to know that I've kind of made a piece of art that's in that house, and it could be painted over at any moment.
Yeah.
But
but in the meantime, you have people driving by. There's an Anneli Roberts in that house.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty
really
cool.
Exciting.
So the show's winding down, but we want to know what's next for you.
What's next for me? It's really difficult to answer those kind of questions. I think I came up against that kind of thing recently, applying for a job, and someone asked me, where do you want to be in 5 years? I applied for a work from home kind of job, and I thought about it, and it's a really difficult question to answer sincerely on a job application, because honestly, I just want to be alive and be able to afford to live and to be continuing on my recovery journey with mental health. And that isn't just work-wise, that's kind of holistic. I want to be happy and healthy, and anything really goes for me outside of that. I don't feel any pressing need to achieve certain things, and that's quite freeing, I think, for me, because I've always been a goals-oriented person, but my goals are all quite wishy-washy and hard to measure, and if I'm feeling good, then that's good enough for me at the minute. And I'm really, really fortunate that my partner is more than happy for me to continue to pursue art and to continue to, take my recovery at my own pace. As long as we can afford to live, he's happy to fund that life. And obviously I contribute what I can. So I'm very fortunate that he's not somebody who wants this massive house and, dream holidays every year and stuff. And the most important thing to both of us is each other. So I guess very similar to you two in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
That is very similar to us.
And we're so happy that you found that. Really, we really are, kid.
Okay.
All right, so
you two inspired me so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We have to wind up the show now.
Mm-hmm.
We unfortunately have come to the end of the line for our 100th episode.
Oh my God!
It's in the books, so we thank you very, very much for coming on. But before you leave us, would you mind telling everyone what your social media handles are so that they can find you online if they would like to?
I think the best place to find me is my Twitter account, which is @Pigletish, which is PIGLETISH.
Okay.
And what does that mean anyway? Where did that come from?
So the Winnie the Pooh character Piglet, I really identify my anxiety with him, and have done since I was a child. So I just conjured up Pigletish.
That's cute.
Yeah, it's cute. I just wanted to ask you that. I assumed it had something to do with Winnie the Pooh, but I wasn't 100% sure. But yeah, that's very cute.
Yes. And what about your Patreon page? What's that address?
And again, that's patreon.com/Pigletish, which is spelled the same, Piglet and then ISH.
Cool. I just want to make sure we got that out there for anybody that wants to sign up for it and support you and stuff.
Thank you.
So, well, guys, we've reached the end of the road. So y'all hang in there, and we're going to end the show with the song Top Shelf by Brandon Stansel. And thank you so much for all your support over the past couple of years and for tuning in, and we love you.
We'll see you guys next week.
We'll see you next week for our 101st episode. Woo! See you later.